Letitia is someone I've known all my life. No, actually, I haven't known her all my life. She's known me all of her life. Anyway, however that works. But she's a great woman, and I was, I said last night, we're a minor party, right? So, we don't always have the big budget of the big parties to get in the big speakers. But in my estimation, Tisha's a big speaker. And she is actually. She's in demand around the world on the topics, and you'll see why today. But the great advantage of your sister is she'll come and do it for free. And but she's going to say lots of mean things about me, so I've got to get in first. Letitia's an ordained pastor, and she's the founder of a ministry called City Women in our hometown of Toowoomba. She sold out to making her city a better place for girls and women. For the last 25 years, she has worked closely with teenage girls. She coordinates City Women, which is an umbrella organisation for a range of ministries that are reaching into the city of Toowoomba to help women and girls. City Women seeks to mobilise women from all different churches to work together to reach and heal the city and the pain that's in it. City Women continues to expand into other cities and towns across Australia and into other nations. She's off to Fiji again tomorrow, where she spends a lot of time speaking there and working with people on the issues that she's going to be talking about today. In 2016, Letitia launched an initiative in Toowoomba called City Free from Porn. And the Mayor of Toowoomba, Paul Antonio, got on board with that. It even made it into CNN. It made international headlines. It's a great idea, a novel one that the media couldn't get their head around. And to hear a bit more about this scourge and what we can do about it, please welcome my sister, Letitia Shelton.
Thank you, Lyle Shelton. I am his much younger sister. Which somebody did ask last night who was older. I was like, you're kidding me? And then he looked over at Lyle and said, oh, he is. And I know you all applaud Lyle for his courage and willingness to speak out for what is wrong. That was really annoying when you were growing up with him, and he wanted to point out the music you were listening to and everything that you were doing wrong all the time. But anyway, he's had good practice on me. That's okay. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to use this so I can see my screen. No, but thank you. It's great, and it's been a good day. I've learned a few things today as well, so Lyle will be pleased to know. And now I know who to vote for this time. Usually I'm like, who are we voting for this? No. So I am talking about pornography, taking ground on the porn industry, because we're here to take ground, aren't we? We're not here to maintain. We definitely don't want to go backwards, although we feel like we are at times, but we want to take ground, and there's many different ways that we can do this. And porn and the abortion industry are very much linked. A lot of funding goes from one to the other, may I say. So all these issues are linked together. But porn is a silent killer of our families, of marriages. The American Sociological Association suggested that men and women who begin to consume pornography during marriage are more likely to get a divorce than their non-consuming peers, and it's destroying our marriages, it's destroying society, and it's destroying our children. And they're growing up, they're innocent victims in this crazy world. They're growing up where they just think this is normal. It's taken a toll. So as Lyle mentioned, I do run an organisation called City Women in Toowoomba, and this is why I began to address this issue of pornography, because I've run 75 camps for teenage girls in my city over the last 25 years. It's what keeps me looking so young. A lot of these girls come from broken families, and many of them, have been abused. And we would hear story after story after story. And I just remember beginning to hear and read about the link between pornography and sexual abuse, pornography and domestic violence. And while we want to help and continue to work alongside these girls, I want to get to the root of what is driving it so we see less abuse, don't we? And so this is why in 2016 I decided that we needed to address this issue at a citywide level. We've been trying to do it at a political level as well, but we've got to stand up and speak out against this in our own city. So we began a city free from pornography. And I remember people saying, that's a silly name, Letitia. You'll never see a city free from pornography. And maybe we won't, but the kingdom of God coming to my city looks like a city free from pornography. And so it's good to declare something that's different. But we interviewed a young girl on one of our camps, and this is just a short snippet of why she wanted to see a city free from pornography. Her name's Ruby, she's 15 years old, and listen to what she said. Why would you like to see a city free from porn?
Well, that's kind of a personal thing, but it's because someone in my family used to watch porn and it made them become very abusive and all that, yeah. So I really hate it, yeah. I just want to see it gone.
And that's the reality, hey, these are just not statistics, but these are real life, real people's lives that it's messing with, and maybe there's stories here today. No doubt there will be stories here today. It affects everyone in every walk of life. And so we began a city free from, well, let me just update you on some of the statistics out there. The world's #1 porn website, Pornhub, in 2019 they released their statistics, and they reported in 1 year they'd had 42 billion visits. It's 115 million per day, 80,000 visits per minute. Also, you can upload your pornography. So pornography is not something that the professionals get together and do. It's something you can upload, produce in your own home, in schools, wherever you want to. Now, I've got some good news on the statistics, which I'll share about that soon, but just keep that in your head. It's everywhere. This is one website. I mean, we're not even talking about the Netflix and the TikTok and the social media and the games, one website. And so it is just everywhere. It's the wallpaper of the society in which our young people are growing up in. It's the #1 sex educator. And porn fuels domestic violence, rape, prostitution, sex trafficking. 88% of pornography is actually violence against women. And so we're never going to end the issue of DV, which again is another huge issue in our nation. We'll never see an end to it unless we see an end to the porn industry, which fuels all of this. And not too many people want to speak up, but I think it's beginning to get on the agenda a little bit more. And so when you just, and God bless the people who have searched all the different porn sites, but when you look at, just here is a list of the terms in porn which describes having sex with women. So this is, linking violence with sex, unfortunately. I'm not going to read through all of those. Pornography promotes dangerous gender roles. Men are to control women. Women are to be subordinate to men and accept the abuse. Unfortunately, in so much of pornography, women look like they're enjoying it. And so it's telling our girls that this is what we need to submit to. In pornography, this is all done in a way that makes inequality look glamorous. And so, a few things that have come out in the media this year. Just in May, of this year, 4 boys from a Melbourne private school have been suspended after a list was posted to social media rating their female classmates. Now, we all come up in arms with this, but they're like, well, what's wrong? Because again, they're growing up in a society where they see pornography and think that women are second-class citizens, and this is how we can treat them. So the girls were ranked with words such as wifeys, cuties, let's get her out, or unrapeable. I mean, imagine, girls finding this social media page with their name and what they were being rated as. It's just unbelievable. I went to school and we were taught maths and English, but they must have too much time on their hands these days. In Brisbane a couple of years ago, a trauma strangulation centre was opened up, would you believe? A trauma strangulation centre to support survivors who have been strangled. And again, no surprise that there has been, again, a huge uprising in choking in porn. 13% of sexually active 14 to 17-year-olds report of having been strangled during sex. We run a ministry in our city called Rahab, where we go into our brothel to spend time with the prostitutes. And it was amazing how many of these prostitutes said, suddenly men are beginning to go for our throats. And because they're paying for it, they think they can do whatever they want to these women. And so I was thankful back in 2016 when I just started hearing stories from the girls, doing my own research. I went and saw our local mayor. He's just retired in the last few months, Paul Antonio, but I went and spoke with him, and he had a real passion just for women's dignity and their rights, and he said, I want to be a part of helping create a city free from porn. And so myself and him, we have teamed up over the last few years. He ran every year a mayor's rally outside Town Hall, breakfast events, This was a couple of years ago, where community members would come together, the police, school principals, Chamber of Commerce, our counsellors, pastors, all in the room to, be updated on the issue of pornography, but also what can we do about it. We've done billboards, television ads, radio ads. So I guess when we talk about what does it take to create a city free from pornography, a big part is allowing the next generation understand the harms that it's going to do to you. It's a bit like the anti-smoking campaign, isn't it? We all know that if you smoke, you're going to end up with lungs full of black stuff that you squeeze like a sponge, and all the black stuff's going to come out because we've seen those ads. And so I wanted to make sure at least we're going to give a generation in our city a choice. That if they're going to watch pornography, because at the moment I can't ban it and we're not getting too far in government regulations, but at least we can give them a choice. I came across this great book, How to Talk to Your Kids About Pornography, because again, unfortunately, parents were unaware that the average age of viewing porn is between the ages of 8 to 11. So our kids are stumbling across pornography. It is predatory. It's a $150 billion industry that wants to get in front of your children and your grandchildren, and will do whatever it takes to do that, if you understand algorithms and all of that. And so I realised I had to help equip parents, because your kids and your grandchildren are going to see pornography. So how are we going to equip them and have conversations of what to do when they see it in age-appropriate ways? And this is just a fantastic tool. And I thought, I want to see, again, taking ground in our city. How do we get this into the hands of parents in our city? Well, I'm a crazy cyclist, so I cycled from Darwin to Broome, 3,000 kilometres. It's all downhill, as you'll see, which was fantastic. Riding through the outback, past Kakadu, wrestled a few crocodiles along the way. Lots of ant hills out there. Thank goodness it's all flat. But I raised $120,000, which meant that we were able to put 20,000 of those books on the doorsteps. Again, volunteers in our city, an army of women. And you know what? As those women would come into our office to pick up the books, so many of them had their own stories of their families, of sons, of uncles, of dads, of fathers, of daughters. It's not just an issue that affects men. 1 in 3 visitors to websites are also women. And so it's possible, with a bit of creativity, to take some ground. And it was amazing, again, because women, and it went public around our city and through the media. People would stop me in shopping centres and say, "Thank you, we received the book. Thank you." It's just given me the wording and the tools to be able to have these conversations with my children. Again, like many of the issues we're talking about, this is common sense. The average Australian agrees that pornography is not good for our children. I mean, it's not good for anyone, but at least we can protect our children from it. So I've just come back in the last 2 weeks from the Global Summit to End Sexual Exploitation in Washington, DC. The woman I'm hugging, Dawn Hawkins, another courageous woman who leads this coalition to end sexual exploitation, 600 leaders who are working around the issues of pornography, sex trafficking, prostitution, because they're all linked. And again, we heard some amazing wins, some really great wins. Countries like France, Germany, the UK, they're beginning to put age verification on sites that you have to be over 18 to enter porn sites. So you're given a government number once you turn 18 and you've got to type that in. And any porn website that doesn't comply with this is automatically shut down. And so it's great to see some of these countries. Now, Australia is really lagging behind. They're making noises about it, but I think again this week it was delayed from our Labor government, unfortunately. So you're hearing good stories, but then also we're hearing stories from this man, John DeMay. He's a parent, and his son committed suicide. He was a part of something called sextortion, which again is a growing issue. In our nation, but across the world, these are global issues. But his teenage son, just a normal young guy, 17, in the football team, he was contacted by predators pretending to be a teenage girl who manipulated him into sending nude photos, which he did, and then they blackmailed him wanting money, and of course he doesn't have it and he can't do it, and they're threatening to spread these photos all over the internet. And so he found the family gun and just shot himself in the head. And this father was there at the conference, very emotional. He made the statement, "The strip club is more secure than our social media." And I've been in and out of a lot of strip clubs, helping the women. And that hit home because I see just what goes on there, but to think that that's more secure than our social media. But he was just pleading to parents, please get your kids off social media. The Australian Federal Police, Australian Centre to Counter Sexual Child Exploitation, reported a 60% increase in sextortion reports in December 2022. The ACCCE receives about 300 reports from people under 18 each month. Though it's estimated only 1 in 10 report. So this is a growing problem now. With John's son, they tracked it back to 2 Nigerian brothers in Nigeria who were sitting there. Then they hacked a girl's account that then pretended to get these photos from the young guy. Yes, it's hit the shores of Australia. Rowan Patrick was 17 years old when he was found dead in his home in Ballarat in 2020. In his pocket was a note, I made a huge mistake. And again, a similar issue with someone in Nigeria pretending to be a girl through Instagram. And for some reason, they're targeting our boys on this one. The nude photos is usually a girl issue, but the boys are being targeted on this. And then with the development of technology, AI porn has become a huge, ever-increasing beast in our nation across the world. There's this website, Undress AI. More than 100,000 people use this website every day. And so it's where you just take someone's photo. So anyone can pull your photo off Facebook right now and put it into this website, and it will produce very realistic porn of you. It only works on women, not men. So they're very hunting the girls down. 100,000 people use it daily. So again, in June of this year, 50 female students from a Victorian, all the good stuff's coming from Victoria, school, had AI-generated porn made of them from the photos and spread throughout the school. No one is safe, and there was a big case with Taylor Swift. At this Catholic college, a boy was expelled from the school because he had created fake sexual images of female teachers. Again, there must be too much time on their hands. My good friend Melinda Tankard-Reist, who many of us have heard of, she's one of Australia's premier speakers on the issue of porn. She is now getting particularly female teachers just quitting teaching because they're being harassed, threatened by the older students, male students in their school. She says it's becoming just a pandemic of what she is hearing, and you can read some of the issue there. Now, here's another great woman taking ground on the porn industry, Layla Micklethwaite. I've had the privilege of being in a few Zoom meetings with her as we talk about these issues globally. Again, she was just a mother breastfeeding in the night a couple of years ago, and then became aware that you could just upload any type of porn to Pornhub, and she realised that you didn't need to have any age verification, nothing, and that people were beginning to film raping women and uploading it to this porn site. It's a crime scene. And so let me just play a clip of her here. She has just brought it out publicly, gotten a lot of media, just written this book, Taking Down Pornhub. I read it in about 2 days. It's an amazing story. They haven't quite taken it all down, but they're doing a great job. Let's hear from Layla.
This might be the biggest scandal you haven't heard about.
The largest porn website.
Attracting 130 million users a day, more than Netflix or Amazon.
Pornhub is under investigation.
This was a company that did whatever it wanted until one woman and a laptop exposed the truth.
She is the founder of the Justice Defense Fund, one of the pioneers in anti-trafficking. Lila Micklethwaite.
Thank you for having me. I was reading the story of a missing 15-year-old girl who was found when somebody tipped off her mother that she was in 58 videos on Pornhub being raped and abused. The Sunday Times did an investigation. They found dozens of illegal videos, even children as young as 3 years old. How was this happening? I decided to test this upload system. In under 10 minutes, with only an email address, I was able to upload content that went live on the site. They weren't asking for an ID. They weren't asking for a consent form to make sure that this wasn't a rape or trafficking victim. The site became infested with videos of real sexual crime. I have to sound the alarm on this.
I was posting on Twitter, started a petition.
We're just about to hit 1 million.
2 million signatures.
Hundreds of organizations participating. Media started to pay attention.
In your article, you write, with Pornhub, we have Jeffrey Epstein times 1,000.
This isn't about porn. This is about rape and sexual abuse of children.
The 12-year-old boy, he was drugged, overpowered, and raped in 23 videos being sold on Pornhub.
Victims were speaking out left and right.
This is going to haunt me for the rest of my life.
Whistleblowers were saying this is true.
Pornhub put profits over people.
Even the former owner of Pornhub reached out saying he wanted to help. Dozens of lawsuits were filed. We went after Visa and MasterCard to cut ties, but they were still resistant. Pornhub started attacking myself, victims. They don't want to stop because they're making a lot of money. And they fight dirty. Pornhub was so scared, they deleted 80% of their site. 10 million videos gone. Victims, they were so happy and relieved because for the first time in years, their rape videos were off of Pornhub. But the fight's not over. They are going to answer for what they've done.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible. One woman's voice, but she has rallied together the people working in this space. So from 2019, I said they have 42 billion visits a day. Now they've had 56 million images on their website taken down. I mean, it was 56 million images were there in 2020. Now they only have 5.2 million images, which is still a lot, but she's gotten rid of over 50 million images. Amazing. So we can make a difference when we speak up. Since 2020, nearly 300 victims have sued Pornhub in 25 lawsuits for knowing distribution and monetisation of rape and trafficking. These lawsuits include multiple class actions representing tens of thousands of child victims in the US federal governments. Change is possible. We can take ground. We need courage, don't we? We've heard a lot of that. We've got to speak up, expose the evil, expose the darkness. Now, Pornhub have been forced to close in 12 states, including Texas, Kansas, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, Virginia, Utah, Kentucky, and let's hope Australia coming soon as well. Why not? Tomorrow I head to Fiji, because in Fiji, a tiny little nation of 900,000 people, in 3 months they watched 626 terabytes of porn. That's 100 million books of data of porn in 3 months from a tiny, tiny little nation where 64% go to church. But again, I'm joining with courageous people. My friend, the Minister for Women, we've started a task force to look into the inquiry of porn, the harms of porn, and we're hoping to bring age verification into that nation as well, because every month they're reporting these types of rapes. 54-year-old man is raping granddaughter, 75-year-old man raping 12-year-old grandniece. This is all porn linked. So as I finish, I want to finish with this story. I mean, be encouraged that we can take ground, but there's still a lot more to take, isn't there? But last year I went to India. I was going over there to speak at a conference called Disruptive Women India. And I had a spare day, and my friend said, "What would you like to do?" And I said, "Please take me to the darkest part of Calcutta." We were in the city of Calcutta, not realising what I was asking, because she said, "Well, we still have a temple that sacrifices babies." I said, "Okay, let's go." Because I hate going to countries and just being in a hotel and speaking and not understanding the reality of what the people on the ground actually have to disrupt. And so we got in a taxi, we drove down to the streets of Calcutta, we got dropped off, started walking down alleyways, and then I saw the Ganges River. And I said, "Are they still sacrificing babies in there?" Yes. Again, you know, quite often if a baby was born and it was a girl, they'd throw it into the Ganges, and you saw these Hindus there with this dirty water, drinking it, believing it's holy water. And then she said, "See those shacks over there?" There was all these tin shacks. She said, "Well, every 8 seconds a child goes missing in India through sex trafficking. That's where they rape them, where they drug them. Oh, that guy's a pimp. Those are some prostitutes, you know." And then we saw a group of men on the ground playing cards. And I thought, "Oh, that's nice. These guys have come out to play cards." She said, "No, right now they're gambling off their mothers and daughters." And so we hadn't even reached the temple, and there was just darkness, onslaught of your senses all around. We turned a corner and we saw one of Mother Teresa's homes, the home for the dying and the destitute. And I've grown up reading Mother Teresa and just loved her, and just a hero of mine. And right above their door was this slogan, "Let us do something beautiful for God." In the midst of darkness and death and the most horrible evil, here Mother Teresa has a light. And we got to go and knock on the door, and the nuns opened up. They were so joyful, 100 men just dying on stretchers, 100 women, but they were giving these people dignity in their death. But in the midst of darkness and evil, she had built something beautiful, something amazing. And so the call for us today too, as we fight evil and all this injustice and death and all the things that we've talked about today, also we want to build something beautiful for God, for our nation, for our families, for our future, for our grandchildren. God bless you.